He trabajado toda mi vida con estas manos, agachado por horas.
Nebraska's farmers asking for your help. They're asking for you guys to save them. They're asking you guys to help them. And yet, 80% of Nebraska's people, voters, who are mostly majority are farmers, are the ones who voted red, the Republican. They're Maga, most of them. And now they're crying because they're going to lose their farms, because they're not able to pay. They are not able to handle their farm. There are no jobs because the undocumented workers who used to work on their farms, they are not available. Literally right now, they are facing problems left, right, and center, and they're asking for your help. Are you going to help them? So let's watch this video, let's break it down, how it is, and let's hear it. At the end of the day, we talk more and drop your comments. So this is where we are, the results. Check the video.
I want to get rid of illegal immigrants, quit eating. And that's for everybody. That's, nationwide. If you want to get rid of them, quit eating. That'll solve the problem.
But when only 5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest his sweet potatoes, farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin, the loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, bad trouble.
Smith's 200 acres need 20 pickers, mostly Mexican nationals.
There is not enough documented people here to supply that workforce.
Most of your workers are here illegally.
But sure, if they got documentation, they got a better job working for me.
Fernando Aldeman, a Mexican national, has worked Smith's farm since 1992. Everybody's just scared.
Yeah.
Now, are you here legally? No.
No.
So, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared,
Smith's pickers make about $100 a day. He supports immigration laws, just not this one that threatens his third-generation family.
Farmers and environmental groups are taking legal action against the Trump administration over its decision to freeze funding from the Inflation Reduction Act, which includes subsidies for renewable energy and energy efficiency upgrades. The lawsuit challenges the freeze on a $300 million program designed to help farmers install solar panels and other sustainable technologies. Farmers who had already purchased products and signed contracts with installers are now facing financial hardship as they are unable to recover the promised subsidies. Butterbee Farm and One Acre Farm, 2 plaintiffs in the case, have completed their solar projects but now must pay tens of thousands of dollars that the government previously committed to covering. The lawsuit argues that this unexpected financial burden could jeopardize the financial future of these farms. With the freeze in place, many climate-friendly projects have been delayed, leaving beneficiaries without the promised federal support.
I might lose my farm because of the government.
Oh no. Who's to blame?
So they had a program out there called the EQIP program to better conserve farmland for agricultural use. We got a contract with them for $240,000, and we have bought different types of material. We've gotten paid out on some of it, but I now have $80,000 worth of material on me today and said, hey, I know we have this signed contract. We're not going to pay out on it.
I'm still waiting for you to say who's to blame.
And unless they lift this pause on payment, I'm going to lose this farm. The reason that they're not able to hold up the contract is our EQIP program is funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. Because of the executive orders,
Whose executive order did this?
there's a pause or a freeze on the funding through the Inflation Reduction Act, and they're not able to pay out on the stuff that we completed or anything going forward. Multiple farms are going to sink if we don't get traction on this and get those funds unfrozen.
It is weird how you never say who's to blame. But considering the EQIP program was part of the Inflation Reduction Act, and that was brought to us by Biden, and now it's been halted by someone who said throughout the campaign that they wanted to terminate the IRA, I think it's important you say who fucking did it. Because there is one specific administration who's trying to screw you out of that money. And newsflash, it's not the last one. And while, of course, I don't know exactly who you voted for, the fact that you don't actually say who's to blame for this says a lot. And I don't want anyone to lose their livelihood. That's why we've tried to warn you over and over and over again that this is exactly what would happen. Oh, and it might surprise you to know that it's not that they don't have the money to pay you. They just don't want you to have it.
Soybean farmer and the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association. John, an early apology from me if we have to interrupt you because the president, as we've said, is going to be making remarks at some point this morning. But look, we've been here before back in 2017. So how is it the same? How is it different now? And how are you and your farm dealing with the uncertainty around this trade war?
Well, thank you very much for having me. And the president said that he loved farmers And this is a very critical time for America's farmers. Every time the president uses the word tariff, he caused complete chaos and confusion. And it's created a state of emergency for America's farmers. Right now, there's $30 billion at USDA that haven't been dispersed to America's farmers. It's planting season. We don't have farm operating loans in place. Those are grants and other services that have been cut and frozen to America's farmers. And my message to the president today, if you love America's farmers, release that money so that farmers can get in the field and put their planters out here. From the last time the president talked about tariffs in his first presidency, the price of soybeans, and I'm a soybean farmer, went from $16.80 a bushel all the way down to $6 a bushel. And then he created the marketing facility program that basically black farmers and other farmers around the country had to apply to USDA to get financial relief. Yeah. And anybody who's been following our story knows that black farmers and the government don't seem to go in the same sentence and work too well for us. And many of us did not get the money. And we were told this morning that the president is going to be helping white farmers from South Africa come to the United States and offer them some type of homestead. And I'm totally opposed to that when we have land and inventory that we can't get through a case called Board versus USA. I'm calling on the president to resolve that and help 17,000 black and other farmers of color right here at home in the United States.
Well, what would your message be to the White House as it presses pause on some of these tariffs, but as the threat of them being extended for an amount of time that we're not actually quite sure how long they could be on? What would your message be to him, and what would be the most helpful to black farmers that you represent?
Well, basically, the president is going to put some things in place to help us. Every time he makes these announcements, like I said, the price immediately drops, and the president announced these tariffs on the largest market for America's farmers. Corn from Mexico, he announced those tariffs in China. Soybeans, China's the number one purchaser. And in Canada, diesel fuel and other resources for fertilizer. These are all major parts and facets of agriculture in the United States. Farmers, American farmers still produce corn, wheat, and soybeans better than anybody around the world. And the president uses that, where he said he loves America's farmers, to bargain on and not put things in place to make sure that we can have a fair price for our commodity. Right now, I'm asking the president to release emergency loans for black farmers so we can get in the field and issue a complete mortgage moratorium where farmers don't lose their farms while the president is playing footsie with all these other countries and tariffs. Those things have to be done immediately. The $30 billion, release those payments immediately to America's farmers so that we can do what we do, which is feed people around the world. And you know, farming is the biggest occupation in the world, and we need support there.
John Boyd Jr., thank you for coming on, sharing your experience and what your message would be to the White House. We appreciate it.
Breaking news! Farmers are losing big under Trump's trade war and funding cuts. Is the farming industry about to crash? Middle 12 to 65 seconds. Did you know life for American farmers is about to get real rough? The trade war's supposed short-term pain is turning into a nightmare. Prices are crashing, tariffs are hitting hard, and now federal funding gone. For example, Jennifer Gilkerson from West Virginia was counting on a USDA program to sell her freeze-dried fruits to schools and food banks. Bam! Funding slashed. All that crap down the drain. Then there's Iowa's Bob Hemesa. He says we can handle short-term pain, but we can't let this trade war drag on. Once we lose these markets, getting them back is nearly impossible. Why? Because U.S. farmers rely on exports to stay afloat. Products like corn, we produce way more than we can eat. But now, with tariffs, countries like China and Canada are turning away, leaving farmers high and dry. Ending 65 to 75 seconds. Farmers are getting crushed under this mess, from small organic growers to big farmers. Nobody's safe. Do you think these policies will actually help American farmers, or is it just making things worse? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you know any
California farmers are raising the alarm that the plans of President-elect Elon Musk and his First Lady, Donald John Trump, to deport immigrant workers might significantly hinder those farmers' ability to harvest the crops that they grow and might eventually lead to these farmers being ruined. Only here's the thing, those farmers supported Donald Trump during the election. If you're a Trump supporter, probably thinking, well, I'm not a California farmer. Here's the thing, those farmers create 50% of the produce that's sold here in the United States. And now if you combine their inability to grow that produce with tariffs on imported produce. What the hell do you think that's going to do to your grocery prices? I'll give you a hint, they're going to go through the fucking roof.
Fucked around, now you fell down. So what the hell are you crying about? Uh-oh, this is what you voted for. He's doing exactly what he said he would do. And now you're out here crying, but I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you. No, I do feel sorry for those of us who understood the fucking assignment, and we're still gonna find out anyway.
Financial markets today roiled by Donald Trump and the chaos he has unleashed on the American economy. The Dow is down more than 2%, around 900 points today, after Trump, in an interview on Fox News, refused to rule out a recession. Watch those comments.
Are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I mean, I think it should be great.
Should be great. Markets didn't think so, clearly disagreeing with that. Spooked by what Trump called there a, quote, period of transition. All major stock indices are now below the levels they were when Donald Trump was inaugurated. That may be one reason why in that Fox interview, Trump said this, quote, you can't really watch the stock market, end quote. A sudden about face from the kinds of things he said during his first term, when markets were his most favorite metric. Today's sell-off and investor concerns are focused around one thing, that Trump's policies, which often come with sudden and surprising reversals, is sending the economy into a recession. New York Times reports this, quote, President Trump inherited an economy that was, by most conventional measures, firing on all cylinders. Wages, consumer spending, corporate profits were rising. Unemployment was low. The inflation rate, though higher than normal, was falling. Just weeks into Trump's term, the outlook is gloomier. The sudden deterioration in the outlook is striking, especially because it is almost entirely a result of Trump's policies and the resulting uncertainty. Tariffs and the inevitable retaliation from trading partners will increase prices and slow down growth. Federal jobs cuts will push up unemployment and could lead government employees and contractors to pull back on spending while they wait to learn their fate. Deportations could drive up costs for industries like construction and hospitality that depend on immigrant labor.
Nebraska's biggest part of their economy, their GDP, is farming.
Right.
And they said 45 to 65% of the workforce is undocumented.
45 to 65%?
Yes. So, with Trump rounding up illegals, what have those illegal immigrants done? They jump ship. They don't want to get raided while they're working. They don't want they don't want to get families broken up. So now, so they predicted that Nebraska is 2/4 away from being bankrupt. The whole state, because there's no workers. Half of their workforce is undocumented immigrants. So now Nebraska is in a panic, is in an uproar. And most of them, farmers and Trump supporters. They got exactly what they voted for. All these illegals were taking your jobs. Why don't you go fill and do the shitty jobs they were doing for less than minimum wage? If these illegal immigrants were taking your jobs. There's all these jobs available. You can do it. To work slave hours at slave wages. You can do it. They literally bit their nose and spite their face. Like, they directly voted to deport the illegals, and now the illegals, they didn't even wait for the deportation. They working somewhere else. I hope they don't want any government handouts, because that's socialism. They hate socialism. Hope they don't want any government handouts. Put yourselves up by your bootstraps. What's going to end up happening is this corporation is going to come buy your farm, and you're going to work that farm. And you're going to be working for the corporations. They're going to buy it for pennies on a dollar, and you're going to be working your farm, and you're not going to own it no more.
Regarding all these farmers that are now crying about possibly losing their farms because they voted for Trump. This is why you absolutely should not feel bad for any of these farmers that voted for Trump. Now, the ones that didn't vote, yes, feel sorry for them, go support them, do whatever you need to do. But the ones that voted for Trump, do not feel sorry for them, and let me tell you why. I am a builder, and I've been building shit in Oklahoma City going on like 20 years now, and farmers are not stupid. If you have the ability to manage a farm and understand the weather, the climate, your machinery, the chemistry that goes into your crops, you are not a stupid person. You're just not. And especially when you come from generational farming, you have the ability to look ahead and predict what you need to survive. And so when you have two candidates, where you have Kamala Harris on one side giving you a whole fucking list of shit that she's going to do for you and make your life better, and then you have Trump on the other side who can't even come out with a normal sounding sentence, and you still vote for that guy, and you are a farmer, you are either racist or sexist or both. And they're only crying now because now they are being treated exactly how they voted for other people to be treated. Got that? They are being treated how they voted for other minorities, people of color, everybody else, poor people, sick people. That's how they voted for other people to be treated. And now they're the ones being treated that way by losing their livelihood, their homes, their income, their farms. So do not feel sorry for them. This is exactly what they had coming. Quick follow-up as to why exactly would Trump be doing this to farmers anyways? And I'm guessing 99% chance it's because he wants to bankrupt farms so his corporate buddies can come in and do a land grab. Basically what you have been seeing the last few years, major companies buying up a bunch of rental houses and jacking up the price of rents, and it's all going to corporations. It's probably something similar to let these farms go to foreclosure and his corporate buddies be able to come in, swoop them up, and now you've got bigger companies involved in more of our day-to-day food.
The reality is what is happening to Nebraska farmers is unfortunate, but the policy that they voted for, which are now affecting them, which are now making them, some of them, or should I say majority of them, are crying, saying they're going to lose their farmers. They're crying for help. They are recording themselves on social media saying they regret voting for Maga, and they are wishing they could go back to the ballot, the day of the ballot, and change their vote. But unfortunately, the die has already been cast, so this is the reality, and we have to bite the bullet and face the music, face the consequences. Like I said, Fafo season continues, and we are feeling the effect every single day, every hour, every action. There is an equal reaction. The thing is, what boggles my mind is how is it possible for people to vote for things that that is against their best interest? That is one thing I don't understand. And unfortunately, maybe I can say some people were ignorant, or maybe they did not believe that what they voted for is going to affect them. They thought maybe it's going to affect other people and not them. But unfortunately, when it comes to politics, when it comes to the government, when it comes to government issues, whatever it is that you voted for, it cut across everybody. Whether you are against it, you're not against it, it will cut across everybody. That is the reality, and unfortunately, the Nebraska farmers are feeling the effects. I hope as we move forward, I hope as we go forward, they will learn from this process. I hope they will learn from this action. I hope they will, when future elections come in, I hope they will, do more research so that they know exactly what they are voting for and against. They know exactly what is they're voting for their best interest and not what is against their best interest, so that they know exactly what's going to happen, so that they do not repeat the same mistake over and over. Because farmers are very clever people. Farmers know exactly what's happening in their farm. They always plan, how they're going to plan their produce. They know when to harvest. They know what kind of fertilizer to apply so that they can get best produce. They know everything. They're not stupid. That one is the reality. So So going forward, I pray that people will do their research, they'll do their best so that they do not repeat the same mistake. But the reality currently right now is, yes, farmers are feeling it, they are regretting it, because they're not finding workers. They are not finding workers. They undocumented workers who mostly majority used to work in those farms, they're no longer there. People have been deported, or others have migrated to other states, friendlier states, where, you know, they can do their job, where they cannot be separated from their families. And now Nebraska's farmer right now, they're feeling the pinch. They're feeling it, because if there are no workers, meaning who is going to do the hard jobs? Who? No one. And as a result, they're going to, you know, experience losses. And as a result, they're going to then make losses. At the end of the day, they're going to lose their farms. You know, I mean, every action has an equal reaction to it, and that is the reality. So going forward, I hope people will be, you know, better informed. They'll do their research. They will vote what's best for them, not against them. They will know that, you know, it's not just about you or him or them. No, it's about, you know, what is best for you and, you know, people across, so that it doesn't affect you in the future. It does not happen again in the future. All right, guys, subscribe to my channel and let me know your thoughts.